Wake up in the morning.
Wake up, Atlanta. It's time for coffee. Talk presented by Spotify. Fresh vibes, real talk.
Let's get started, shall we?
Yeah.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another exciting podcast here today. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, boy howdy, we are back with yet another exciting episode here today. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Coffee Talk presented by Spotify. We hope that everyone is having a fantastic, and I do mean this, guys, a fantastic Wednesday. It is a wonderful, wonderful day that, first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, that the Lord has made. But we hope that everyone's having a great one. We're live here in the radio station, and I'm really excited for this episode because we got yet another jam-packed episode for you guys as well. We hope that everyone is, first and foremost, staying safe. It's getting rather warmer. It's been rather warmer the last few days, so I've seen it on campuses and outside. Everybody's wearing shorts. A lot of people are just wearing their more spring, summery type of outfits. So I do say get ready because summertime will be here before you know it, but first we got to go through spring. I'm a little scared about spring because pollen season. If you guys know, pollen season is one of those seasons that I just don't really like, simply because of the pollen, simply because of the pollen that's on your car, the pollen that's in the air, and that's one of the things that I am sort of allergic to. So I knock on wood that I don't get heavily affected because I got too much things to do. But we hope that everyone is liking the show that we've got coming up thus far. Of course, Cover Talk was Monday, and then yesterday we uploaded episode 3 of City Never Sleeps Part 2. Kennedy Lucas Animation Studios, we are officially back with another exciting episode. So we hope that you guys enjoy that one as well. That animated mini series has been great to produce, and it's just been one of those fun things to do. Just the fun things to do while we wrap up and we get geared up for another episode. And if you guys like Monday's Coffee Talk, thank y'all so much because we had so many. A lot of people tuned in. A lot of people liked it. A lot of people liked the stories we got going, and that's just kind of the vibe we're going for. Just trying to create more voices, get more voices on the show, get more stories on here, and to get everybody booked and ready for, just more shows to come. So, besides all that babblingness of this, of course, with K.L.P. Entertainment, just kind of cleaning up news. Good morning, everyone. We hope that everyone's again starting their Wednesday hump day. Started off really, really well. Got my chai latte in the office, getting ready to start just another exciting day. But let's start off with some shows that I've been watching. And you guys know the show that I've been watching is called Tell Me Lies. The latest episode is now available. And I do want to say to a lot of people this morning, spoiler alert, kind of, because, there's some things I'm going to talk about. Hopefully I don't spoil it too much for everybody. But, Tell Me Lies, let me tell you, that show is fantastic. Of course, the latest season is out right now. The latest episode, I'll give you guys kind of the premise of this episode. I don't want to spoil too much for you guys out there that's listening to us this morning. But Tell Me Lies, the premise of this episode, of course, shit is hitting the fan quick. Of course, Lucy gets expelled from Bard College because now we all know that she's covering up Pippa because Pippa was sexually assaulted by one of the characters, one of the college mates, and she's covering it up for Pippa because that's just what Lucy does as a good friend. But Steven knows that she's been lying, and there's been a tape. They recorded it, and somehow in this episode that tape gets leaked throughout the entirety of the campus, right? The entirety of the campus knows that she's lied because Steven made Lucy record herself that to admit that she lied. And once she lied, she lied. She is out there on campus. Is one of those things that it's out there. It's, once you lie about something, especially when you lie about sexual harassment, sexual assault, the R word, I won't say it on this public show, that's a bad idea. You don't really want to lie about that kind of stuff, right? That's a big no-no. So of course she gets kind of exposed and expelled from college. She no longer can continue her studies at the college, and that really broke my heart because that sounds like a nightmare, right? That sounds like a complete nightmare. And luckily, with my bachelor's and my master's, I haven't been expelled for any program, but it does scare it. That's a scary sight to kind of see that you can get barred, you can get exposed, you can be terminated from studies from a college that you were planning to attend to. So it's kind of scary. Her life gets blown up. She's going through some things, and she's going through a lot of trials and tribulations. And now at the end of that episode, I think that was the last episode of the season. How the way they ended it, shit hits the fan. Steven exposes everything at Ethan and Bree's wedding. How Bree was sleeping with Wrigley, and Wrigley was cheating on Pippa for Bree, and Lucy and Evan, they had a thing, they had sex. There was just a lot. It was a lot of explosion. It was a lot that just shit hit the fan. I don't see, and I hope they come back for a new season. I really do. But how the way that ending of that episode happened, I can see if they calling it quits. I can kind of get it, right? College friends, and it does happen in real life. Thank God that, I still have some of my college friends, but I had a lot of college friends that no longer that I'm talking to now because, college friends, when you in college, you become best friends, and then you age out. Things get real. You get married. You got relationships. You got a job. You graduate, and all the college friends, they kind of separate. It kind of happens with me in high school. I had a lot of high school friends, but once we got to college, some of my friends went to different colleges. Most of my friends, though, from my high school, we ended up going to the same college. But after college, people grow up. People become adults. Things happen. So that's what I see happening from the Tell Me Lies friends and the cast and crew members. Like I say, though, Tell Me Lies is just one of those great shows that you just don't want to sleep on. Lucy is still crazy, but I think her craziness kind of validates her for being crazy. Lucy is still crazy. Steven is still crazy. It's just crazy moments that happens for a lot of people. So I get very, very excited when there's good shows like this, Tell Me Lies. This show is definitely rewatchable for sure, but that's how the way they ended their season. I think this is the last episode of the season. I would be surprised if next week we get a new episode, but I don't. I think this is the finale of the season. And they did good. It's a good show. It's a very, very good show. That's just something that I've been really dabbling into. So it's one of those things when it does happen, it happens. Now, speaking of college, now, if you guys know, we are here in Atlanta. And I wanted to talk about this because I have my take on this idea that this college is doing. So if you guys don't know, Kennesaw State University is not too far from us. I want to say it's about a 20-mile drive because we're here in Atlanta, so that's about 20 miles, maybe less than that. Kennesaw State University. And I read their captions, T and audience and hoping everybody. They said that they're making history, and yes, they are making history. But let me tell you something. For anybody who goes out and get this degree, I don't want to judge you. I don't. But Kennesaw State has announced a new degree. It's called the Bachelor's of Science in Artificial Intelligence. Okay, I understand. A lot of companies are dabbling into AI, right? When our script writer is script writing, we sometimes use AI, right? I'm K.L.P. Entertainment. We are dabbling into AI. I won't say because we don't dabble AI into our movies because that's something I don't do. That's I got some morals there, but AI is a powerful tool to which we use. So I understand it. Where companies are using it sucks because there's a lot of big corporations they're using AI and they're doing layoffs. That part sucks. Thankfully, with here at K.L.P. Entertainment, Filmworks, we're a small team, so there's not layoffs. Have there been layoffs? Yes, but we're a small team, so we don't have to worry about massive layoffs. Big corporos, big corporations, they're using AI. They're cutting thousands upon thousands of jobs. So that part sucks. That AI, I am on the firm belief that AI is going to take over this world. And I hate to be one of those people. I am pro AI because I think it's a powerful tool. I think it builds productivity with K.L.P Entertainment and other businesses. You save money and you make money by that. So, hey, as a businessman, I've got to understand the role of AI. I do. But I am glad that universities like Kennesaw, they are trying to think outside the box and trying to be different. I get it. But that's kind of scary that they're introducing that bachelor course, that degree. Bachelor's of Science in Artificial Intelligence. I think it's a bad idea for universities to integrate that, because if you got somebody who has a degree in artificial intelligence, hell, I'm gonna be honest with you. Anybody could do AI for free nowadays, right? There's lots of trials and tribulations and trials and freebies when it comes to these AI softwares. Now, if you want to dabble too so much into AI, there's a lot of people who could just buy the technology, learn the technology, and let me tell you, these companies that's dabbling in AI or AI creators, they're making it easier for us to understand for free. So you mean to tell me there's a bachelor's degree for AI, that bachelor's degree, probably depending on the school, probably going to cost me about $40,000 to learn that, where I can do it for free. That's why I think it's a bad idea. I don't think, I don't want to say it's a waste of time. I don't want to say that, because AI is very cool to learn. It's very cool to get into. I just think it's a bad idea and a waste of time for students to get a bachelor's degree in AI, because you can get it for free. Hell, there are even certificates where you can get free courses for free and get a free certificate. Anybody and their mama could get AI and understand AI. Even, look, and I'll say it, my parents understand AI, right? And if my grandmas were still here, maybe if I showed them what this was, my grandmas, God rest their souls, they probably could understand a little bit about AI. That's how free and easy it is to go and dabble into AI, right? So I Kennesaw, I'm not hating on y'all, because hey, you gotta get in where you fit in, right? There's a lot of universities, not just in the state of Georgia, but all over the world, that these universities are trying to be innovative, because honestly, universities, and I'm always going to be a firm believer, ladies and gentlemen, that education is very important. I think everybody needs education when it comes down to business. That's just my wholehearted belief. But a lot of universities are trying to be innovative, trying to do these new things, because they're all trying to survive, right? We're in this generation where, even though we've seen a lot of students, or at least I've seen a lot of students going to school and going to colleges, a lot of them are saying, hey, I don't need to go to school to make money when I can just make money for free, right? A lot of people, especially this young generation, they're finding ways to make money without getting a degree, right? A lot of dudes hustle, a lot of women hustle, right? Down from selling product, being an entrepreneur, or even, hey, I hate to say it, but OnlyFans. I don't know too much about it because I'm not on OnlyFans. I don't dabble into that. But there are people making millions on OnlyFans and they ain't got no certificate, let alone high school diploma. So that's how easy it is to make money, right? So a lot of these kids, a lot of these cats are not thinking about college because they don't want to run into debt to try to do it. Now, like I say, I work in the educational field too. I do believe in education. I do believe that being well educated gets you far. That's just my cold-hearted belief. But it's just one of those things that you got to understand what degree is going to make you more profitable, right? And I won't say that so much, because I know a lot of people got all these different types of degrees, and people are being very, very strict and strategic about what they do. I'll be honest with y'all. I have two business degrees, and yeah, I do a little bit of business, but I also work in tech. Right? I didn't get an IT major or an IT degree. I got a business degree, and now I'm working in tech. So, you can intertwine the two. I just think that Kennesaw got the idea, and in theory, it sounds cool. But do I think they'll be profitable for somebody to get a degree in AI? I don't think so because you can get it for free first and foremost. And what's scary about it, AI, again, I'm going back to my first statement, AI is taking over jobs, right? So just imagine you get a degree in AI and that AI you got the degree and took your job. Now you out of a job, right? That's why I think it's not really a good idea. I really don't. I'm for AI. I like it, but there's some kickback that's gonna happen. So, like I say to a lot of people, I get in how you fit in. If that's your thing, if that's something you want to learn and get a degree in, by all means, I won't stop you. But again, there are ways you can learn AI for free. You don't have to go into college debt to learn AI because it's right at your fingertips now. And that's the scary part about it, right? I love AI, but that's the scary thing. It's at your fingertips. It's on your phones. It's on your laptops. It's that easy. So it's just I get it, but I don't get it, right? So shout out to Kennesaw State for sure. Now, I wanted to talk about, coming up next, I wanted to talk about this music review. I know I haven't done a music review in a very, very long time. To my ladies and gentlemen, my boys and girls, you guys know I dabble heavy, heavy, heavy into my music. Music is one of those things that it just gets me power lifted and just keeps me going. And let me tell you something, the wonderful Miss Jill Scott's latest album, To Whom This May Concern, is officially out. Let me tell you something. R&B music is just one of those things that I like to do. I like to make R&B music. Me and Nyla Moreau, we got something cooking. We gonna announce that very soon this week, hopefully. I love R&B music. Jill Scott, she's on a press run right now. I knew the album was out. She was performing. She was in New York. I think she's heading kind of all over the place to promote the music, of course. But Jill Scott this past week was in New York. And it's very fitting because I think this album came out on maybe the day before Valentine's Day. So I listened to Whom This May Concern. And I think I'm starting to like this new genre of soulful blues. Now, it's not to say that I haven't liked soulful blues in a long time, because I like soulful type, jazzy type music. I really do. I like your Erica Badu's and your Sade's, right? Lauryn Hill, I'm not really a big fan of Lauryn Hill. That's a hot take of mine. I just don't really care too much about her. But, I mean, her style is there. But Jill Scott, I'm going to be honest with you, and this is a hot take, I think Jill Scott is better than Lauryn Hill. Now, to say, is Jill Scott better than Erica Badu? I don't know. That's a tough catch. But I do think Jill Scott is better than Lauryn Hill. I'm not to say that Lauryn Hill's not great. Not hating too much on Lauryn Hill. I just think Jill Scott is better. And that's just my opinion. But when I listen to this album, this is the type of music that we should be consuming, right? Jill Scott has an old flavor soul that is just so flavorful. It's so tasteful, right? Her music is not so much just cussing. There's this thing on TikTok, right? It's a meme that somebody's rapping on it, and they say what female rappers ring about: coochie, drugs, luxury vehicles, coochie, balls, drugs, luxury vehicles, coochie, balls, drugs, luxury vehicles. Yeah. So, and sometimes singers sing about those things. But Jill Scott, this new album, soulful. It just takes you back. Now, I like the song "Pay You on Tuesday" because she said, I don't need another. I was like, wait a minute. I laughed in my car when I heard that song because first of all, I was not expecting that from Jill Scott. But once I heard it, it's every song to me is very symbolic, right? She's talking about her soulfulness of love through her eyes and through her voice and through her vision. And that's what I think we need a lot from a lot of female artists. And it's not to say that all female artists don't do that, ladies and gentlemen. They do. But Jill Scott is she's a legend. First of all, she's a legend. She's a treasured legend that her songs will resonate to you more once you really hear the lyrics, right? She got the first song with she had more of a I think, and I want to ask her, did she use like an actual college band, high school band to perform that song? Because that song, the first song, it's like you can hear trumpets and trombones and saxophones and percussions like an actual band. So I like music like that, I really do. But Jill Scott's latest album, to whom this may concern, I give this a gold star because this is so soulful. It gets you to the point. It gets you through her story and her experience. I think Jill Scott is just finally she's coming back, and not to say that she went anywhere because she's been on TV, she's been on movies and stuff. But I think this is a good time for her because now she's releasing music, right? And we all know that she's on set with Tyler Perry with Why Did I Get Married Again? So I'm so happy to see Jill Scott back doing her thing. I hope she has a very successful press run. I know she was on the Joe Budden podcast. When I saw that, I clicked it immediately because I mean, that's first of all, Joe Budden's one of my favorite podcasters, and to see Jill Scott right and them interviewing it, it's quite amazing. So I do say to a lot of people, if you are into Jill Scott, I know I might even send this album to my mama because my mama is a big Jill Scott fan. So I wonder, did she hear the album already? It's really good. It's one of those good ones that you don't want to sleep on this one. And it is To Whom It May Concern. The album cover, and let me tell you something about the album cover. It's so original. Right? You got a lot, because I'm guilty of it too. You've got your singers and they over edit in there. It's always an art illustration with there comes down to their artwork and they have to super edit. I wonder who did her album cover. Is it one of her kids, nieces, nephews? Somebody did that and said, hey, I want that as my album cover. Now I wonder, did she use AI? Right? She probably didn't use AI for this one, but it's really, really good. The album cover is unique, it's authentic, and it just resonates with Jill Scott. And this is why I think Jill Scott is going to make her units are going to move. Like she's going to make many units move. When I say units move, I mean streaming because I don't. Which I this is an album actually. If she sells vinyls, this is an album I would pick up as a vinyl. I'd say that, right? And there's not many songs, not many albums that I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to get a vinyl, right? But this is one of them that I would pick up a vinyl if she's making vinyl. I think she is making vinyl. But when I say you move in units, most likely she streaming, Spotify, iHeart, Apple. But I can't wait to see what happens to that as well. That's going to be quite amazing. And speaking of Apple, before we turn it over to Simone, I'm very excited to semi-announce this, but it's everywhere. We got this thing in my email. And this show, along with What Had Happened Was and K.L.P. Aftermath and other shows, will be coming to Apple Podcasts. They're making a video version. Very, very happy about Apple Podcasts. Apple Podcasts is still here to stay. Apple Podcasts, people think that Apple Podcasts is a dying thing. It's not, because that's one of our sponsors. And Apple Podcasts is where people, if they don't go sponsor to Spotify, and Spotify, we love you. If you're not on Spotify or iHeart, Apple is going to put some money behind big podcasters to get them sponsored, right? And I think it's a great time for Apple to say, hey, Apple Podcasts, we're going to start releasing video for their app, right? So I think it's been a long time coming. Spotify, I think Spotify is one of the first streaming apps that allow podcasters to have their video versions on the app. And now Apple Podcasts is next. iHeartRadio, I hope you're watching because this is the direction that Spotify and Apple take it. I really want iHeartRadio to have video versions of podcasts uploaded to their app too. I know they're trying to stay authentic to the radio and the audio side of it, but I think iHeart would make so much more if they bring the video portions to their app. But very, very excited that Apple and Apple Podcasts are going to be bringing everybody's show. If you have your podcast as a video version, it will go on Apple Podcasts, and you have the option to listen or to watch via the Apple Podcast app. I'm very, very excited for that. I think video podcast is where it's at right now. 2013 when everybody started podcasting, it was all audio, but that is a thing of the past right now. It is all about video podcasting, and I get very, very, very excited for that as well. One more thing. I know I got to turn it over to Hope and Simone and everybody here this morning, but I wanted to send a shout out to GGC Basketball. Again, we're not a sponsor to them, but shout out to them because next week their conference is coming up. First ever season conference for the CAC conference. Again, I've seen a lot of and I'm talking about the men's and women's basketball teams. They're putting up numbers, right? I've been saying that on this show. I've been saying it on any other show that I've been having. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that women's and men's basketball for GGC, I think they should go in a different league than CAC, but CAC is actually good conference. They're putting up buckets, again, winning triple-digit points in not each game, but almost every game. Is quite amazing. So I'm humbled for that. Again, the players, they're doing their thing. The coaches are doing their thing, and I just can't wait to see what they do. I think at the end of this month is their CAC conference. I love to see them win a trophy, right? I love to see them win. I love to see them doing a lot of great things. Especially if it's your first season, you've got to win that championship. And I know it's tough because there are some schools out there that are tough. Simone and audience, there are a lot of schools that are tough. And of course, coming up next with GGC Athletics, of course, GGC baseball and softball have started their season. I filmed both teams, not the same teams, but both teams back in the day with GDN. So I can't wait to see what the men and women do for baseball and softball. Simone, I tell you, the one sport that I played, a lot of people don't believe that I played this sport, but the one sport that I played was baseball. So I'm riding hard for baseball for GGC because I played the sport. Very, very fun sport. I think if I would have not gotten sick that one time and trained my body, I probably would have been able to play for GGC baseball back in my college days. If I went hard about it, if I learned, and if I became a better hitter and just trained more, I probably would have been a decent baseball player. But besides the point, I gave that all up to do podcasting and do my own thing. So shout out to GGC Athletics as well. Okay, we're going to turn it over this morning for Coffee Talk. I'll be back to end the show. Take it away, Simone.
Wake up, y'all! It is now time for the front page news of the day on Coffee Talk presented by Spotify. Yeah!
Good morning, folks. We have another packed show for you. Here's the front page news. As music catalogs continue to be treated like high-value assets on Wall Street, legendary producer Jimmy Jam has offered a rare, level-headed take on a trend. This trend has artists fielding 8- and 9-figure offers for their life's work. In a recent conversation with All Hip Hop, the hitmaker, one half of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, made it clear that there is no universal rulebook when it comes to selling or partnering on catalogs. His comments land at a moment when catalog deals have become one of the biggest financial stories in music, particularly for artists with proven longevity. Mark Byers, a veteran music exec, concurred by saying it all depends on the individual. Some people need the multiples for their own personal reason. Some leverage to build business of their new passion, Byers told All Hip Hop. He also said that some artists feel the value of their music is in decline and to offload it before it has no value. Then there are others that may feel like they have a depreciating asset, he said. Byers, a native Philadelphian, is the co-founder of Protect the Culture, a music intelligence company. Big names, big decisions. In recent years, several major artists have made headline-grabbing catalog moves, each taking a different approach that reflects exactly what Jam is describing. In 2022, Justin Timberlake sold his songwriter catalog, roughly 200 songs he wrote or co-wrote, to Hypnosis Songs Fund, in a deal reported to be worth around $100 million. The move gave Timberlake immediate liquidity while transferring long-term publishing income to the investment firm. Hip-hop has followed suit. In 2023, Eve sold her publishing catalog to Harborview Equity Partners, a firm known for acquiring culturally significant Black music catalogs. While financial terms were not disclosed, the deal was widely reported to be in the eight-figure range. Then there's The Weeknd, who took a different route entirely. Instead of a traditional sale, he entered into a massive partnership with Lyric Capital in a deal reportedly valued at around $1 billion. The arrangement used his catalog as financial leverage while allowing him to retain ownership and creative control, illustrating how catalogs can function as infrastructure, not just property to be sold. While the numbers vary wildly, the strategy behind these deals aligns closely with Jam's perspective. Today's catalog transactions are no longer limited to outright sales. Artists can cash out fully and walk away from future earnings, take large advances against future royalties, enter shared ownership partnerships, use catalogs as collateral to fund new ventures. Each option comes with different trade-offs involving control, legacy, and long-term income. Jam and Lewis themselves have long prioritized ownership and structure. Their catalog, spanning decades of pop, R&B, and hip-hop classics, now sits within large-scale rights management platforms that handle global administration and monetization, without necessarily stripping creators of participation or influence. A long view on legacy. For Jimmy Jam, the catalog conversation isn't about trends or headlines, it's about alignment. Artists at different stages of life have different needs. Some want security, some want flexibility, some want to reinvest in new ideas. What matters, he suggests, is understanding the options and choosing the path that serves both the art and the artist. Mark Byers agrees. Catalog is one way to raise money, depending on its value. However, some can make a deal and invest in things to up the ante for their investment portfolio to create even greater wealth for their families, he said, but they just have to have a real success plan. As more hip-hop and R&B creators weigh similar decisions, Mark Byers and Jimmy Jam's words cut through the noise. Ownership is a strategy. We live in an era where songs are traded like stocks, so that clarity is the most valuable asset of all.
Turn it up. They shoot. They score. Top of the hour sports talk on Coffee Talk. Presented by Spotify.
We back.
We don't give a fuck.
Good morning, everyone. Happy hump day. Here's the latest in sports. The next 2 weeks of women's college basketball will determine the fate of dozens of teams, but here's the wild part. A single game between Rhode Island and Richmond could completely reshape the NCAA tournament landscape.
You know, that's such a fascinating angle to start with because most people are focused on the power conference battles, but that Atlantic 10 showdown could actually have bigger ripple effects.
Well, let's paint the full picture of what's at stake across the country. South Carolina has been absolutely dominant, going 3 and against top SEC competition, but they're not home free yet.
And what's really interesting is how the Big Ten is shaping up. UCLA seems to have that locked down, but there's this incredible three-way battle for second place.
Speaking of battles, we need to talk about Michigan's schedule because, oh my goodness, they're facing what might be the toughest final stretch of any team in the country.
Right? They've got to face both Iowa and Ohio State back-to-back. That's like running 2 marathons in 2 days.
And here's what makes that Michigan-Iowa matchup particularly fascinating. Iowa doesn't have anyone who can naturally match up with Olivia Olson. We could see her have a career game.
You know what's been flying under the radar? The incredible season Texas Tech is having in the Big 12. They could actually win their first conference title since 2000.
That's such a great point. And their game against Baylor could be season-defining. If they win, they'll be 4-0 against Baylor, TCU and West Virginia combined. That's absolutely unprecedented for their program.
Well, speaking of unprecedented performances, we have to talk about Olivia Miles dropping 40 points against Baylor. That kind of showing changes everything about how teams have to prepare for TCU.
And it really highlights how the power dynamics in women's college basketball are shifting. We're seeing programs that haven't been relevant for years suddenly becoming major threats.
That's making me think about Virginia Tech. They've got this relatively manageable schedule coming up, but that rivalry game against Virginia could be huge for both teams.
Oh, let's dive into that rivalry game because Virginia's entire NCAA tournament hopes might rest on that matchup. They lost by 12 in Blacksburg earlier this month, but rivalry games just hit different.
You know what's fascinating about these final weeks? The way weather is actually impacting the championship race. That Tennessee Ole Miss game getting postponed means both teams now play 3 games in 6 days.
And that scheduling chaos couldn't come at a worse time. Both teams are fighting for top 4 spots in the SEC. The physical and mental toll of that compressed schedule could be massive.
Well, that brings up an interesting point about team depth. How do you manage your roster through something like that when every game is essentially a must-win?
That's exactly why these next 2 weeks are so crucial for player management. Take Kentucky, for example. They've got this brutal stretch ending with South Carolina. And while they might not get that top 4 SEC finish, they're still fighting for NCAA tournament seeding.
Speaking of Kentucky, we can't overlook that incredible game they had against Vanderbilt, where Michaela Blakes just went absolutely nuclear with 37 points.
19 points in the fourth quarter alone. And you know what makes that even more impressive? She did it when the pressure was highest with tournament implications on the line.
That's the kind of performance that can define a season, and it really shows how individual brilliance can completely change the trajectory of a program.
You know what I find fascinating about this time of year? The way teams have to balance immediate goals with long-term tournament preparation. It's like playing chess and poker simultaneously.
Oh, that's such a perfect analogy. And it really comes into play with these rivalry games like Duke, North Carolina to end the regular season.
That matchup is just chef's kiss, perfect scheduling. North Carolina might be out of reach for the ACC title, but they're fighting for that crucial double bye in the conference tournament.
And let's not forget about the psychological impact of these games. A win against your biggest rival right before tournament time can give a team that extra confidence boost they need.
Speaking of confidence, we should talk about how South Carolina has handled the pressure of being the target all season. They've not just won, they've won convincingly against top competition.
Well, that's what makes them so impressive. They're playing like they have nothing to prove while simultaneously proving everything.
Looking ahead, what do you think is the most underrated storyline that could emerge in these final 2 weeks?
You know, I'm watching that Big 12 4-team race closely. The way those teams are all intertwined, we could see some really unexpected results that shake up the entire conference tournament picture.
And that's exactly why this is such an exciting time in college basketball. Every possession matters, every game has multiple implications, and we're seeing the emergence of new powerhouses alongside the traditional forces.
That's really what makes this sport so special. The way it can still surprise us even after all these years of watching and analyzing.
Well, as we wrap up today's discussion, I think we can all agree that these next 2 weeks are going to be absolutely incredible for women's college basketball. The regular season is ending with a bang, not a whimper.
And we'll be here to break down every dramatic moment as it unfolds. These are the weeks that create March Madness legends.
Wake up! Get up! We starting the day!
Let's get into it. Our top story of the day on Coffee Talk presented by Spotify.
Turn it up! Let's go.
Welcome back to Tech Insights Unpacked, where we dissect the stories shaping our digital world. Today, we're diving headfirst into a blockbuster battle brewing in Hollywood, a high-stakes struggle that could redefine the entertainment landscape as we know it. We're talking about the fierce fight for Warner Bros. Discovery, a true titan of content, with streaming giants Netflix and Paramount Skydance going head-to-head. Warner Bros. Isn't just any company. It's the legendary studio behind iconic franchises like Harry Potter, the timeless allure of Casablanca, and the prestige television gold of HBO, home to The Sopranos and Succession. This isn't just about corporate maneuvering. It's about control over some of the most beloved stories and characters on the planet. The core motivation? It's all driven by the relentless disruption online streaming has brought to traditional film and television, pushing these media conglomerates to seek scale and competitive edge in an increasingly crowded market. It's a real-life drama, unfolding with billions of dollars on the line. Let's break down the bids. First, Netflix. Their proposal focuses on acquiring Warner Bros. Studio and streaming divisions, essentially aiming for the crown jewels, HBO Max, New Line Cinema, and the core film library. They've sweetened their offer to an all-cash $27.75 per share, valuing these holdings at a hefty $82.7 billion, including debt. Their strategy is clear: bolster their content library and solidify their dominant streaming position. Then there's Paramount Skydance, led by David Ellison, with a hostile takeover bid. They're going straight to the shareholders, bypassing WBD's management after initial proposals were rejected. Paramount wants the entire company, including WBD's traditional pay TV networks like CNN and the Food Network, valuing the package at $108.4 billion, offering an even higher $30 per share, all cash. Their goal is massive scale, aiming to combine HBO Max's 120 million subscribers with their own 79 million, hoping to truly compete with giants like Disney. It's a bold, aggressive play. Now, you can't talk about multi-billion-dollar mergers without discussing the regulators, and both these deals are certainly raising eyebrows in the US and Europe. Netflix's acquisition, if approved, would make an already dominant streaming player even more powerful. Critics worry about the impact on actors, screenwriters, and local cinemas, fearing an unchecked monopoly. On the other side, a combined Paramount-Warner Bros. Would create a colossal entity with significant control over sports, children's entertainment, and traditional networks, potentially raising concerns for advertisers and local television distributors. Putting CBS and CNN under the same parent company, especially with the Ellison family's ties to former President Trump, adds a complex political layer, impacting the news business. Trump himself has offered mixed signals, initially claiming personal involvement before deferring to the Department of Justice. It's a tangled web of business, politics, and consumer impact, with no clear path to approval yet, making this Hollywood drama far from over. Shifting gears from the glitz of Hollywood to the ground-level realities impacting millions, let's turn our attention to the UK, where the job market is facing some significant headwinds. Recent official figures from the Office for National Statistics reveal that unemployment has hit its highest rate in nearly 5 years, climbing to 5.2% in the last quarter of 2025. This isn't just a number. It represents real people and real struggles. What's particularly concerning is the disproportionate impact on young people, those aged between 16 and 24, whose unemployment rate soared to a staggering 16.1%, its highest in over a decade. Imagine graduating from university, like Lucy Gabb from Cambridge, with a degree in French, only to apply for over 50 entry-level publishing jobs and receive just one interview. She described it as soul-destroying, and it's a sentiment many young job seekers are echoing. The political arena, predictably, is a flurry of blame, with both Labour and Conservative parties pointing fingers over the economic policies and their effects on hiring. It's clear that addressing youth unemployment is a critical priority, but finding common ground on solutions seems elusive. Beyond the headline unemployment rate, the broader economic picture in the UK shows wage growth slowing to 4.2% annually, though still outpacing inflation, which stands at 3.4%. This easing in pay growth might be good news for the Bank of England, potentially making them more inclined to cut interest rates at their next meeting in March. Lower interest rates could stimulate borrowing and investment, providing a much-needed boost to the economy. However, an even bigger, more complex factor looms: the increasing role of artificial intelligence. Financial analysts like Danny Hevson from AJ Bell are warning that while sectors like health and social work are seeing job growth, the surge in AI investment could hit young people and entry-level posts the hardest. As AI automates more tasks, the demand for foundational roles could diminish, creating an even tougher landscape for those just starting out or looking to rescale. This means that while traditional sectors are shifting, the future of work is being rapidly reshaped by technological advancements, adding another layer of urgency to the unemployment crisis. Given the challenges we've discussed today, particularly the soul-destroying reality of the job market for many young people, it's clear that innovative solutions are desperately needed. As a tech reviewer, I'm always looking at how technology can bridge these gaps, offering pathways to opportunity. Imagine a platform that not only helps you identify in-demand skills, but also connects you directly with employers actively seeking those abilities. This isn't just wishful thinking, it's the promise of future-focused tech. Today, I actually had the opportunity to craft a radio ad script for a hypothetical service called Skill-Up Surge, designed specifically to empower job seekers in this evolving landscape. I wanted to see if I could create something compelling that truly captures attention and drives action, focusing on all the essential components of a strong radio ad. It's a fantastic example of a concept that hits all the right notes for tackling the very issues we've been discussing. So let's take a listen to this ad for Skill-Up Surge now, and notice how it directly addresses the pain points we've highlighted throughout the show. It's an exercise in engaging content creation that I think you'll find quite insightful. Tired of endless job applications and no replies? Feeling like your skills aren't quite matching what employers want? We get it. The job market is tough, especially for young people trying to get their foot in the door. But what if there was a better way? Introducing Skill-Up Surge, your ultimate partner for career transformation. Skill-Up Surge offers tailored learning paths, cutting-edge training, and powerful AI-driven job matching that connects your evolving skills directly with companies ready to hire. We don't just teach you, we help you find the perfect fit. Feeling stuck because entry-level roles demand experience you haven't had a chance to gain? Skill-Up Surge closes that gap, giving you the in-demand expertise and vital connections employers truly value. Stop guessing, start growing. Don't let opportunity pass you by. Join the thousands already finding success. Sign up today for a free premium trial. This special offer won't last forever. Visit skillupsurge.com. That's skillupsurge.com. Skill Up Surge. Ignite your future. Now, that's what I call a compelling ad. It directly addresses the frustration of job seekers, particularly the young, by offering a clear, tech-driven solution. The emphasis on tailored learning and AI-powered matching is exactly what today's dynamic job market requires. Services like Skill-Up Surge represent the kind of innovation that could genuinely make a difference in navigating the complex interplay of media shifts and economic challenges. From Hollywood boardrooms to the daily struggle of job hunting, technology continues to reshape our world, offering both daunting challenges and inspiring new possibilities. It's a prime example of how audio alone can convey urgency and value, making key information stick through repetition and a clear call to action. Crafting such an ad truly highlights the power of targeted communication in an ever-evolving digital and economic landscape. Join us next time on Tech Insights Unpacked as we continue to explore the cutting edge and unpack the future.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Boy, howdy. We hope you guys enjoy this packed show that we have. Of course, we have Simone, Sarah, Rachel, Marcus, myself, Hope. We hope that you guys love the show. Coffee Talk is one of those things that it just gets me so excited. And I actually got asked yesterday, from a colleague. He asked me, what are my, he's like, how are your side projects going? I said, yeah, the movie's going good. Yeah, DR's Air's coming. Podcast is going good. This thing ain't going nowhere. I have fun doing it. So I hope that you guys enjoy listening to me babble about random stuff here on the radio show. But it's just one of those things that we like. Stay tuned, because tomorrow we'll be back with another episode of Coffee Talk. And I promise you guys, we are recording more episodes of What Happened Was podcast. We had to take kind of the week off because there's a lot of things going on between me and Evelyn, not like to each other, but like we're filming a lot. She's filming a movie called Aggie Pride, and we've been podcasting, and then we've of course, I'm a technician, audio engineer, lighting technician too, and she's a nurse practitioner. So we do have our day jobs as well as running our media company. So because a lot of people ask, hey, what were you skipping this week? Yes, because we just didn't have the time. There's no time in our schedule, but towards the end of this week, she'll be in the studio to record more episodes. Again, have a great day, everyone. Happy hump day. Stay safe, stay healthy, get hydrated. It's getting a little warmer out here in Atlanta, and we hope that everyone have a great day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow morning with another new episode of Coffee Talk presented by Spotify. All love and respect and peace. We'll see you guys in the next episode tomorrow. Good morning.
We bringin' good energy.
This has been Coffee Talk presented by Spotify. From our cast, we thank you for listening.
Yeah.